When most people imagine medieval Europe, they'd picture stone castles rising above green hills, armored knights fighting for honor, and kings ruling with dignity. But that version of history was designed to be remembered. The reality was far less romantic. For the vast majority of people, medieval Europe was not a world of glory. It was a world of survival. Most families lived in single-room wooden huts with dirt floors. Smoke from indoor fires filled the air because chimneys were rare. Animals often shared the same space as their owners, not by choice, but because livestock meant warmth, and warmth meant life. Privacy did not exist. Comfort was a luxury, and childhood was short. By the age of 7, most children were already working. Life expectancy hovered around 30 to 40 years, not because people suddenly died at 30, but because so many never survived childhood at all. Disease was common. Medical knowledge was primitive. Infections from minor injuries could turn fatal. A simple cut in the wrong season could end a life, but illness was only one danger. Justice in medieval towns was public. Punishments were not hidden behind walls. They were displayed in open squares, meant to be witnessed. Execution sites stood in clear view of daily markets. Crowds gathered not only to observe, but to learn, because fear was not a side effect of the system, it was part of it. Authority rested on hierarchy. At the top were monarchs who ruled by what was believed to be divine right. Below them, nobles who controlled land and wealth, and beneath them, everyone else. If you were born a peasant, you would most likely die a peasant. Social mobility was nearly non-existent. Taxes did not disappear during famine. Rent did not pause during winter, and failure to pay could cost more than property. The church stood as the most powerful institution in Europe. It shaped law, morality, and daily behavior. For many, faith offered hope, but it also offered control. Questioning religious authority was not seen as intellectual curiosity. It was seen as rebellion, sometimes even heresy. And heresy had consequences. Prisons were not designed for rehabilitation. They were designed to hold bodies long enough to send messages. Public humiliation was common. Stocks and pillories placed individuals in town centers where neighbors could mock, throw refuse, or simply stare. Shame was weaponized. Winters were unforgiving. Crop failures triggered starvation across entire regions. Entire villages could weaken before spring arrived. When harvests failed, there were no emergency relief systems, no organized welfare, no safety nets. Survival depended on weather and luck. Even yet, despite this hardship, life continued. Markets opened, church bells rang, fields were plowed. People adapted to instability because instability was normal. If you're still watching, join our historic community as we journey through the phase of early humanity's darkest days. You can also check out our previous series on human survival to better understand the concept of our platform. The mid-14th century, something began to move across trade routes. It did not march with banners. It did not carry swords. It did not ask permission. It traveled in silence, on merchant ships, in cargo holds, in the corners of ordinary life. At first it looked familiar. Another fever, another sickness. Europe had endured hardship before, but this was not hardship. This was collapse. Ports reported strange deaths, then villages, then entire districts. The sick did not recover. The healthy did not remain healthy for long. Priests died, doctors died, nobles died, peasants died. Rank offered no protection. Prayer offered no immunity. Wealth offered no escape. Homes were sealed with bodies still inside. Fields went unharvested. Church bells rang so often. They began to lose meaning. Fear stopped being political. It became biological. Within a few years, millions were gone. Not killed in war, not executed in rebellion, but erased by something invisible. The medieval world had always been fragile. Now it was exposed. And what followed would not just change Europe, it fractured it.